Hello dear students, I am Dr. Shikha Pandey, Associate Professor from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today in this lecture series of the subject Solid Waste Management, I will discuss about the recycling of dry waste component. So in the previous, this solid waste whole picture is related with this flowchart only, because we have this in this solid waste subject. We are going to study from its just an initial step of the solid waste from a generation to its final disposal. So from beginning, we have discussed about all these things, that is waste generation, primary collection, and so for this waste generation, we have already covered this primary collection and secondary collection method. So after secondary collection method, here this step comes, that is processing and transformation. So processing and transformation of waste. So we have already covered the processing part, that is MRF sites and MRF techniques which is used, and whatever techniques is followed in these MRF facilities. And next is the processing of dry waste. So today we will discuss processing of dry waste, like recycling, processing of dry waste. So which method we are adopting to process the dry waste? In dry waste, we are going to cover the glass and metals waste, and in coming classes I'll discuss about the paper recycling and plastic recycling. So today we will study recycling part of, and the recycling of some important waste, like plastic recycling, glass recycling, plastic recycling, glass recycle, and then aluminium recycling. So let's start this first part, that is recycling. So first of all, we'll discuss about the meaning of recycling. Recycling means what? So as government has made this solid waste management rule in the year 2016, and this rule has been covered under Environment Protection Rule, that is EP Act in 1986. So under EP Act, this is solid waste management rule is there, and that has been made in the year 2016. So in as per this rule, so recycling process has been defined as the process of transforming segregated solid waste into a new product or a raw material for producing new product. So this recycling word can be defined as a process of making either a new product, either a new product or raw material for producing new product, raw material for producing new material for producing new material new material. So this is about recycling. Recycling means the process of transforming segregated solid waste into either in a new form or a new product, or a making a raw material to producing a new product. So as per the solid waste management rule, this is the actual definition of the recycling. So this recycling has been adopted to recycle the dry waste that is already present in our waste. So for this recycling of either cardboard or aluminum cans or glass can or paper waste or plastic jar or some steel jar. So for everything, whichever is the dry waste that is present in our communal waste, so conversion of that waste into a either a new product or for making a raw material to produce a new product is called as recycling. So complete, you can see this picture will picturize, will reflect the complete process of recycling, like recycling of a bottle, recycling of paper can, recycling of jar, or recycling of aluminum can, or either recycling of cardboard to produce a new material, or to produce a raw material for new product. That's why these MRF sites are there, material recovery facilities are there. So in material recovery facility, we'll submit the raw material, we'll submit the plastic, we'll submit the whole waste, and that whole waste they are segregated on the basis of by some mechanized way or by some manual handling. They are segregating the all waste so that they can utilize the either plastic for its recycling, either paperboard for its recycling, whatever which is suitable for that particular waste can be adopted. That's why this recycling has been very important word that has been added as well as solid waste management handling rule in the year 2016. So this recycling is focusing on of to convert the waste into a new product or to make a raw material for new product. Because waste, as a government is already focusing on the resource of recovery wealth from the waste, or resource of, or recovery of resource from the wealth from the waste. So by following these points, to focus on these point, that recycling point is too much important. Now comes to the next point: what is the recycling, what is the advantage, and what is the benefits of recycling? So the benefits of recycling is for, if we will talk, will categorize this advantage of recycling as per the what is the benefit toward the urban local bodies, what is their benefits toward the economy, what is the benefit for the environment. Means either this waste, this recycling has a all purpose is there. So first of all, if we will discuss about the urban local bodies advantage of recycling, is like, for urban local bodies, it is going to reduce the waste volume, and then cost saving in collection, transportation, and disposal. So this urban local bodies will get the cost saving in the collection, transportation, and disposal practices. Next is the longer lifespan for landfills. Obviously, if in the landfill we'll put only those waste which can be decomposed, like this dry waste will, if we'll make this dry waste for the recycling, will already segregated the waste, then it will obviously it will increase the lifespan of a landfill. And then again, the reduced environmental management effort, it is all again going to reduce the efforts related with the environment management. As for economy, if we'll talk about the economy, what is their benefit? For that, this recycling will benefit the economy in terms of the reduction of import of raw material like fertilizer. Obviously, fertilizer raw material will be reduced, and livelihood opportunity for recycler, means many new job generation is there. New jobs are there for the levers. And next is it is a sustainable use of resource. Sustainable means, sustainable is a very vast word. Sustainable word means to fulfill the need of the present generation without compromising the need of future generation. That's why this recycling is can help toward the sustainable use of resource. If, because if recycling will be more, then obviously there is sustainability of the use of resources. If sustainability will be there, then you can preserve your natural resources. Whatever resources you have, you, that will be up to your wish only, and that will be preserved for the coming generation, for the coming future also. So this recycling word is too much connected with the environment, because it will focus toward the sustainable use of resources. Next is the reduced waste volume, and hence reduced land requirement for disposal also. Obviously, with this recycling, the waste volume has been reduced, and the waste disposal site land requirement is also reduced. So the land requirement is reduced. Land requirement is reduced because we need more land to dispose the solid waste. So if recycling process will be more, then the reduction of waste volume is there, and hence the reduced land requirement for the disposal, and this is going to reduce the requirement of waste disposal. Next point is like, we are going to discuss on the detail on the plastic recycling, how this plastic recycling is done and what is the benefit of this plastic recycling. So the plastic recycling is a process of recovering different type of plastic material in order to reprocess them into varied other product unlike their original form. So plastic recycling is the process of recovering different type of plastics, recovering of different type of plastic from the in order to reprocess them into varied product unlike their original form. An item made out of plastic is recycled into a different product which usually cannot be recycled again. So a item which is made up of by recycled plastic can again make a new product, and that usually cannot be recycled again. So there are 7 different type of polymers group which are given numerical code 1 to 7. 1 to 7 numerical code is there for the plastic types, for the polymer that are using in this plastic. So not all 7 groups are plastic are recyclable. So for 1 to 7, they have given some coding of the plastic, and on the basis of the coding, we can say that which number can be recyclable, because all plastic cannot be recycled. So let's discuss about this 1 to 7 type of plastic. So this is like a number 4, 5, 6, 7. Up to four it is no problem. And number 4 is like LDPE. LDPE means recyclable groups of plastic is there. That LDPE is like low density polyethylene. So it is used in bread and shopping bags, carpet, clothing, furniture, and its status is like transmit no known chemical into the food and is recycled to make envelope, floor tiles, lumber, trash can liners. So these are the different area. This up to 4 to 7 plastics we can recycle, but up to 3 we cannot recycle. So these 4 to 7 are the recyclable group of plastic. 4 to 7 are recyclable group of plastic. Otherwise up to 3 is cannot be recycled. Up to 3 cannot be recycled. Cannot be recycled. So this is the very important point regarding the plastic. Number 4 is the LDPE, that is low density polyethylene, and it can be used in the bread and shopping bags, carpets, clothing, and furniture. Basically it's what is its status? Its status is like it transmit no known chemical to the food. So this is the symbol of this type of plastic. You can see on the pet bottles. You can see on every these bread and shopping bags, like this symbol is there, that is 4 means LDPE, low density polyethylene. Next number is number 5, that is PP, polypropylene. Pro, polypropylene. Polypropylene. So in this it is used in the ketchup bottles, medicine, syrup bottle, drinking straw, etc. It also, what is its status? It also cannot transmit no known chemicals into the food. It can also transmit no chemicals into the food, and it cannot contaminate the food also. And it can be recycled to make battery cables, brooms, ice scraper, and rakes. Next, 6 number is polystyrene. 6 number is polystyrene. It should be used in the disposal cups and plates, egg cartons, takeout containers, and its status is like it is believed to leave styrene, a possible human carcinogenic, into the food. So it should be avoided. This 6 number, it should be avoided. That is polystyrene. Polystyrene is leaching styrene into the food, and so too you have to avoid this 6 number of plastic group, that is 6 number, that is styrene. It will consist of styrene. So when it will come into touch with the food, it is going to leach this styrene compound, and this styrene is a very dangerous compound. It is a possible human carcinogenic, and it can be recycled to make foam packaging, insulation, light switch plates, and rulers. Next is the plastic number 7. 7 is also there. 7 means what? This is other and miscellaneous numbers. So first it is used in the 3 and 5 gallon water jugs. Nylons are there, and some food container. What is its status? It contains bisphenol A, which has been linked to heart disease and obesity. So it should be avoided. So it should be avoided, and it is recycled to make custom made products. So you can see that only 4 and 5 is safe. Only 4 and 5 is safe, that is LDPE, low density polyethylene, and PP, polypropylene. And 6, 7 cannot be used. It should be avoided because PS is like polystyrene, and 7 number is miscellaneous, and this can be and in the 7 number of it bisphenol is there, and for 6 number styrene is there. So styrene is very much dangerous, and it should be avoidable because this styrene causes carcinogenic to human being, and it will be creating cancer also. Carcinogen means those substance which is causing cancer, which is going to change your mutation of your gene. That's why this word is there, that is carcinogen. So this number 6 is a carcinogen, and it is polystyrene, and it is mostly used in disposable cups and plates, egg cartons, takeout containers, and it is a very much dangerous because it is going to leach this styrene compound. So these 4 to 7 are the different recyclable group of plastic. So only 2, 4, and 5 can be acceptable. Other 6, 7 cannot be acceptable. Now comes to the stage of plastic recycling process. different stage that is involved in the recycling of plastic. So first is the segregation of plastic, then it's a washing, then shredding. So in segregation of different plastic item is done by their resin contents and color. Segregation should be based on the resin contents, resin content and color. So segregation can be manual or mechanical. Mechanical means specially designed machines are there. Some machines are there and contaminants are eliminated. In the segregation part, contaminants eliminated. Contaminants are eliminated. So this is the good part about this segregation part. Next part is like washing. In the washing, most containers and packages have labels, adhesive, or even food residue that must be removed. So first is the segregation. Segregation of plastic item is done by the resin contents and its color. On the basis of the resin contents and color, plastics can be separated. And after its segregation, it can be manually or mechanically. Some specially designed machines are there, and then some contaminants should be eliminated. Contaminants should be eliminated. Next is the washing is a very important part, because every plastic will contain some labels, some adhesive, or even some food residue is also there. So the washing is very much important. After this segregation, washing part is there. After washing, next part is that is shredding. Shredding is granulating the plastic waste into small particle. Shredding with shredders are there. With shredder, these small plastics has been cut into a very small particles, and this increases the surface area of the plastic, making it easier to process, reshape, and transport if needed. So with that shredding, three step is there. This shredding will help in the processing, then it's a reshaping and transport of this plastic also. Next point is that like that additional steps to remove any non-plastic waste that might have escaped the previous step of processing. So some additional step is also there to remove any non-plastic waste that might be escaped from the previous step of processing. So segregation, first is the segregation means segregating the plastic on the basis of its resin contents. Next is the washing the plastic and containers, so that they maybe some food residue is there, some maybe some food labels is there, so to remove everything. Next is the shredding. Shredding is like granulating the plastic waste into smaller particle. This increases the surface area of the particle. This increases its surface area, and it will be helpful and easier to process, reshape, and transport the plastic processor. And one more additional step is there in this shredding to remove or to wash the particles to non-plastic, to see that any non-plastic waste is not there. So now comes to the next step, that is identification and classification of plastic. Then after this, we identified and classified the plastic. So for this identification and classification, two tests are there. First is density test and classification test. So these are the some tests to determine the quality and class after shredding. After shredding, one test is there, that is density test. Density test, and next is the air classification test. Air classification test. Classification test. So in density test, it is done by floating the particle in large tank of water. In see, if large tank of water is there. So and the plastic, the shredder particle plastics are put into the tank. So on the basis of its density, obviously the lighter density particle will float on the surface of the water, and in this way this identification and classification of plastic should be done. And next is the particle light, then water will float and dense will sink into the water, and but the light will float on the surface of the water. Air classification test is like, it determines how thick or thin a particle is. It is going to classify that is the thickness and the thinning of the particle, and it is done by dropping the particle into a small wind tunnel. It is done by dropping this small particle into a small wind tunnel, and the smaller piece will fly higher up to the tunnel, and bigger one will remain lower. Obviously, the higher smaller piece of the plastic will fly higher up to the tunnel, and the bigger one will be remain in the lower. So two other additional feature plastic which are commonly tested are the melting point and the color. Melting point and color is also a important point to test the quality of plastic. Melting point and color, so it determined by collecting and analyzing sample from each batch of plastic particle. Melting point and color will determined by collecting and analyzing samples from each batch of plastic particle. So these are all about the test that has to be done to identify, to know the quality and class of plastic after its shredding part. So small particles, what happen? Small particle are smashed and melt together into a plastic pellets. You can see this is the plastic recycling industry, and the next step is the extruding. Extruding means small particle are smashed and melted together into the plastic pellets, and the pellets can then be used in the production of other plastic products. So this pellet can be used in the production of other plastic products. So this is the picture of the pellets that can be make after compounding process. After compounding process, this type of a small pellets has been made. This pellet, and this is the picture of a plastic recycling industry from this South India. Here they are recycling the plastic, and these plastic pellets are there after the compounding process. Next is the this is the some data that is related with the estimated share of global plastic waste by some disposal method. Means by the disposal method, how much amount of plastic is sharing is there. So the global waste recycling percentage is considerably very low. So in the year, if we think that 2015 globally, recycling waste, which how much type of waste has been discarded, incinerated and recycled. So recycled, this is the blue color represents the recycled waste. So in recycled, it is very less. Up to 55% of the waste has been discarded in the year 2015. For the same 1985, it is 95% of the total waste is discarded only, and in the year 2005, 69% of the waste is discarded only. So in the year 2015, the recycled waste percentage of plastic is considerably low. Means the global plastic waste recycling percentage is a little bit low, that is 19%. So it is this data will reflect the estimate share of plastic waste by disposal method. Next is the metal recycling. Metal recycling will discuss about the recycling of metal. So metals are the valuable material that can be recycled repeatedly without degrading their property. It can be recycled again and again without destroying its property. So this is the very good thing about this metal recycling, without destroying the properties. And scrap metal not only has a financial incentive but also an environmental imperative also. Scrap, some metal which is scrap metals are either classified as ferrous or non-ferrous. Ferrous means iron or some steel is there, and non-ferrous will contain all the metal, like which is a metal also. So steel and iron are the most recycled metal in the world, as largest structure can be recovered from them without easy reprocessing. So this at a very high scale, steel and iron is the most recycled metal in the world, because the large structures can be recovered from them, either them with easy reprocessing. Use of magnets in the sorting process enable recycler to easily separate steel and iron from the mixed waste system. So for this recycling process, the magnets is used in the sorting process, and that is this magnet is going to process, or this magnet will enable recyclers to easily separate steel and iron from the mixed waste stream. So this is some of the data. This is from the Hindu, that is like around 400 million ton of metals are recycled worldwide everywhere. Steel is the world's most recycled material with a rate of 86% in the year 2014. In India, the metal recycling sector currently employs about 1.75 million people and contribute around 2% to GDP. So the metal recycling sector currently employs around 1.75 million people. 75 million people. This is contributing to our 2% to GDP. 2% to GDP. But metal recycling rate in India is very low. This is let's have a look, because this is the actual data of recycling of metal in India. When we compare recycling rates in of metal in India versus US, so this is the recycling of metal in India. This graph will show you. This is 25% of this total metal recycling. See, this is the whole percentage of this metal recycling in US as compared to India. So in the US, steel is 100%. So everything is like that. And for India, it is very less. And for so it's like a, this has been a given from the recycling percentage rate in the US for all material. For India, this is the recycling rate in US for all material, like for steel, steel appliances, steel cans, aluminium total, aluminium cans, paper and cardboard, paper and paperboard. Next is the newspaper. These are the cardboards. Okay, this is a different thing, but these are coming under the metal recycling. And see this for India, this is much lower than the that in the US, and even global average of the metal recycling. Only 25% of the metal is going to be recycling, and other plastic is there, or other paper waste is there. So when we compare the recycling percentage of India as compared to US or other country, it is very less in the India. And this is the data for the metal recycling for in the US. And this source of this is like US Geological Survey, and Aluminium US Geological Survey, Aluminium Cans Association paper, US EPA, Glass Packaging Institute, rubber, that is US Tire Manufacturer Association. Plastic data is taken from Association of Plastic Recycle and the American Chemicals Council. Now we'll discuss about the different stages of metal recycling process. Metal recycling process will involve, first is the segregation stage. Obviously segregation is there. Segregation will involve separating metals from the mixed scrap metal stream or the mixed multi material waste stream. So in automated recycling operation, magnets and sensors are used to add the material separation. In automated recycling operation, some magnets and sensors are used to aid in the material separation. And next is the shredding. What happen in shredding? It is promote the melting process using comparatively lesser energy, as the small shredded metals have a large surface to volume ratio. In general, aluminium is converted into small sheets, and the sheets steel is changed into the steel blocks. And after this, melting stage will come. In the melting, scrap metal is melted in a large furnace, where each metal is taken to a specific furnace designed to melt that particular metal. Scrap metal is melted in a large furnace, where each metal is taken to a specific furnace designed to melt that particular metal. And based on the size of the furnace, the degree of heat of the furnace, and volume of metal, melting can take from just a few minutes to the hour. So this is about the melting of this recycling process of metal. In the melting, so first step is a segregation can be done by automated recycling operation, where magnets and sensors are used. Next is the shredding of the metals, and the shredding will promote the melting process using comparatively lesser energy, as the small shredder metal have a large surface to volume ratio. Next is the melting, is like scrap metal is melted in a large furnace, where each metal is taken to a specific furnace designed to melt that particular metal. Based on the size of the furnace, the degree of heat of the furnace, and volume of metal, melting can taken from just a few minutes to the hour. Next is the purification step. In a purification step will ensure high quality final product that is free from contaminants. This purification step is important, as this purification step will ensure high quality final product that should be free from contaminants. And one of the most common method used in the purification is electrolysis. Electrolysis has been used by the use of water to know the purification stage of this metal recycling. Next is the solidifying stage. Melted metals are carried by the conveyor belts to cool and solidify the metals. In this stage, scrap metals are formed into specific shapes such as a bar for easy production of various metal products. Transportation of the metal bar. So after solidifying, metals bar are transported to various factories where they are used as raw material for the production of brand new product. After solidifying, metal bars are transported to various factories where they are used as raw material for the production of brand new products. When the product made of these metals bar come to end of their useful life, the metal recycling process cycle again. So this is the metal recycling process. When the product made of these metal bars come to an end of their useful life, the metal recycling process cycle will again start. So this is about the recycling of metal. So these are the references of some of the textbook which you can follow to get some in-depth knowledge about this recycling process. So thank you for today's lecture, as I have discussed today about the recycling of some glass or recycling of metal. In the next class, I will discuss about the recycling of cardboard, some recycling of wood, and some other recycling parts also. So at this stage, I am concluding my lecture, and thank you for today's lecture. And if you have any queries, if you have any question regarding this lecture, you can write in the comment box, or you can directly mail me into my given mail ID, that is shikha.pandey@gmail.com. So thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.